discuss one more time what all things we have been doing. Okay, so we tried to introduce cloud computing with its definitions, right? And what we have basic understanding of cloud computing. So we tried to find out why to move to cloud computing. So we also tried to understand the essential characteristics, right? The basic 5 characteristics of cloud computing. So the benefits of cloud computing, right? And the definition given by NIST, right? And then some basic how data center looks and what all things are there in the data center. And then about the virtualization, right? So what is virtualization and benefits of virtualization, types of virtualization, how virtualization works, virtualization in the cloud, and how virtualization and cloud are different things, right? Virtualization is a technology and cloud is a methodology, right? So after that, we the next thing is introduction to Amazon, right? But before that, let's look into the curriculum. I would request all of you to open the curriculum that is provided by Early Rise. So I'd request all of you to keep the curriculum open, right? And you can try to see as and when we finish some topic, you can try to relate whether we are going with the flow of curriculum. Okay, so I think yesterday we didn't discuss these two concepts from the module 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So before we move to AWS, let's discuss about what is public cloud, what is private cloud, right? So there are two things. You see, somewhere you will find like cloud models, and they will be mentioning like public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud under cloud models. But here you clearly see like this is mentioned, and here you see service models, right? So there are two things. One thing is with respect to deployment, right? How you are deploying, where your infrastructure is, right? And how you are deploying your infrastructure, right? So what is the way? So this is before you move to cloud, right? So what type of cloud you want to choose with respect to deployment? Okay, everyone understands what is deployment?
Yeah, Harish.
Deploying something?
Yes, sir. It is like, deployment in the sense it is like whatever we have done the coding, it is like we need to check in and deploy it in particular environment.
Yeah, correct. So simply deployment means like bringing your resources into action, right? Bringing your resources into action, right? That is only deployment. So here we will, with respect to deployment, we will be discussing about the models. So you can say deployment models as well, right? Deployments. So in our slide, we will be covering it here, cloud computing deployment models, right? So it's fine. Let's first discuss about this deployment model. Then we move to introduction of AWS. Fine. So here you see three things, right? Cloud, hybrid, and on-premises. Right. Well, three things you are seeing here different, right? In curriculum, if you look, so here it's mentioned like public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, different terminology, right?
Yeah.
So let me try to explain this in whiteboard. Okay. So hope you all can see the whiteboard, right?
Can
Yeah,
you
Harish.
show the this PPT what you were showing? Like what is it written there?
Yeah, PPT, this one, right?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Cloud hybrid on premises. Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
what you see here, we will come back to this, right? So as of now, in curriculum, you see, no, it's mentioned
Yeah.
like public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud.
Yeah.
Right. So let's get acquainted with all the terminologies, right? What is private cloud, what is public cloud, and what is hybrid cloud? Why I have mentioned there cloud. So let's discuss this. Fine. So now we understand what is the meaning of deployment. So I would say deployment models cloud computing deployment models. Okay, so deployment models for cloud computing. Right? So as you heard, like so this is about migrating to cloud. Before you migrate to cloud, you need to be aware of the characteristics of the environments that we are going to discuss. There are various environments, right? So say like public cloud. Okay, so let me first deal with public cloud. Okay, so by the name you can understand, right? It is for public, right? So this type of cloud deployment model will be supporting all the users who want to utilize the computing resource. For example, say like OS or CPU or memory or storage or whatever type of software or any type of application server or database or whatever you want to take, you are free to take it, right? So it's for everyone, right? Now there will be a subscription charge for everything, whatever you use, pay as per use. So most commonly it is used by, right, application developers, application development and testing purpose, right? Some non-mission critical tasks will be there. Say like you want your email services, you want some kind of file sharing services, you want some kind of something which is not mission critical, right? So that is something where the name suggests it's public cloud. You are with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So here what you have to understand is just you understand like it's all in cloud. I can say, right, all in cloud. Can you relate it now by the name all in cloud? Anyone?
Yeah, yes, sir. It is like all the application, the softwares which we are going to use for a project that will be available in the public cloud.
Perfect. Ranjita, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect, Ranjita. So as the name suggests, all your application would mean, right, whatever is there, everything would be in cloud. So you can create all your new application in the cloud, right? Or secondly, you can migrate whatever existing applications are there. So you can migrate your existing applications as well to utilize the benefit of the cloud, right? So by this terminology, right, public cloud and or all in cloud, am I making it clear to everyone? You'll never be get confused with this. Okay, let me give you an example. let's take an example of, you heard about Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay. So they adopted all in cloud strategy, right? So they decided, fine, let's go completely in the cloud. Let me close all my data centers, right? And let me put everything, all my streaming contents in AWS only. I don't have to worry about anything, right? It's completely moved to cloud. Let's put everything there. Let's put all our applications there, all our videos there, all movies there, everything there, and let everything be there in the cloud, right? So this is something which is giving you complete freedom of mind, right? You don't have to worry about anything, right? Fine. So
Yeah.
before we move to hybrid, let's think about other terminology, right? Which is written as private cloud. Now again, you look at the word. Getting it?
It's for individual use.
Private, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
So exactly, it's true to its name, right? It's used by individual organization, right? As Vikas said. So this may be managed by the organization, right? The same organization who is getting this private cloud, right? Or maybe the organization gets support from the some other service provider, right? Getting it? It may be
Yeah.
onshore or offshore, right? So it may be like in your premises, or it may not be in your premises, right? It may be supported by you, managed by you, or it may be managed by some other service provider, third party vendor. Now just think, is it not similar to your own data center? You have to
Yeah.
manage, correct? And do you think capital expenses can be avoided here?
No. Yeah. I mean,
Correct.
expenses. Yeah.
So here it will be expensive. You have to invest in the capital expenses because you have to acquire the resources and maintain the resource. Right? How do you think? Why do you think the concept of private cloud exists? Right? When you have the public cloud, which is much more cheaper, what kind of issues does it address? Because unless and until
Security.
yeah, correct, perfect. So one thing is security, right? What can be something else? Anything else apart from security? Similar thing is privacy,
Yeah.
right? So security and privacy, the organizations, right? They are much concerned. This is one of the barrier where the organizations are trying not to adopt cloud is they are worried about the security and the privacy of their data, right? So they have a choice. They have a choice here. So they can move to private cloud completely. Completely they can make it private. They can own it. It will be, can be managed by them. Now comes the mix of the two. And as the name again suggests, exactly, right? So hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud. What will happen? They will make use of interconnected private and public cloud infrastructure. So they will have public cloud infrastructure as well, apart from their private cloud infrastructure. So many organizations, right, some bigger organizations, what they will do, they have existing IT infrastructure already. They have already invested in that. They don't want to remove it completely like how Netflix did, right, by closing all its data center, right? So
Yeah.
these organizations, they want to retain because they have invested a lot. They have invested in the skills of the people. They have invested in the data center, the components, right, and then the all the arrangements they have already made. So they don't want to throw it because again they are worried about the security and the privacy of their critical mission critical, you can say, applications and data. So they don't want to remove it. So they want to keep it as well while they want to scale up. What they want to do? They want to scale up their IT infrastructure rapidly. They don't want a slow scaling. They want it quick. So what is the option? They don't want to invest more because whatever they have already invested, right? So they just want to utilize it, right? For startups, it's easy. They can simply go for public cloud. But for existing companies which are running for years, so they have already invested. So now, right, we'll discuss about how AWS came into picture. So it will be really very interesting to understand that. So here they want to leverage the benefit. They want to leverage the benefit of what has new technology methodology has come, right? So they want to increase their capacity by using that, while they also want to keep their some of the part the data and the application secure and more secure and private, right? So say like one online retailer is there, right? Online retailer. So they want more computing resources to run their web application, right? During say like holiday season. Only during holiday season. You might have heard about the pressure on the servers during holiday season. Oh, holidays going on, right? So too much of pressure. So they just want to scale up their resources only for 1 month. Say like 15th December to 15th of Jan, or maybe for the December month, or for like some other season in some other part of the world. So they just want more resources only for a limited period of time. They will simply get it from the public cloud, right, while maintaining their own ever running infrastructure. Am I clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you might hear some other one more term, right? And no, you may be thinking like, no, that is not introduced here. What is that? That was never discussed, whether that exists or not, right? So let me introduce that word as well, right? Anybody aware? Any other deployment methodology is possible apart from the three? Just think. Something is applied. Who is that? Yeah, please go ahead.
I just saw that it's on premises.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not sure.
No. Let me I just didn't discuss that. So let me make it clear here, right? So let me write it on premises here.
Private clouds are on premises. Right?
Yes, this is called on premises as well. Clear now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect for bringing that term. I had missed it. Okay, so fourth one. Any other type of deployment you may think about? Just think. Here in public we are talking about everything in cloud. In private we are talking about the owned by a particular organization. In hybrid we are talking about one organization is trying to utilize putting something in the cloud, in the public cloud, however maintaining their own data centers and their own private infrastructure, right? So this hybrid cloud they are using. So apart from that, just think of a situation where multiple organizations, right? Maybe some no government organization or some kind of other organization. They want to collaborate with each other, right? They want to do, say, like some university. They want to do some research. They want to know cooperation from other people, right? Or some kind of hospitals, medical related some organization, right? So they want to collaborate, right, with different other organizations, right? They are not keeping it for themselves, right? They want little bit reduction in the cost as well because they want to share it with other organizations, right? And they need to depend on other organizations because no, it's not about only them, because they are talking about something else. They are talking about their goal is something else. It's not, the goal is not private, so they're not keeping it private. So they want to share the computing resources, right? They want other organizations access to their environment. Without that, there is no logic of what they are doing, right? So they want to restrict it to the members of a particular community, right? A particular community, say like all medical professionals, all hospitals, right? They can use this cloud, right? So all people, university people, all students can utilize this particular cloud. So they want to share with a particular community, right? They want they want it to be shared with multiple organizations, right? And they want to reduce some cost as well, right? So what do you think? What should be the name of that type of cloud? It's talking about community. So as all the names are like so self-explanatory, it's so nice. All these names have been given by whom? NIST. NIST. We have been discussing about NIST, right? So NIST, they defined it and they told that these are the deployment models after doing extensive research on cloud computing, right? So what do you think the name should be? Any intelligent guess?
Community cloud.
Perfect. Who is this? Ranjita?
Urvashi, I just you just explained so.
Okay, perfect, Urvashi. So it is perfectly the community cloud.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's community cloud where this particular model, community cloud model. So all these are, you can say, like deployment models, right?
Yeah.
So this is public cloud deployment model or private cloud deployment model or hybrid cloud deployment model or community cloud deployment model, right? So now after telling the name again, let me summarize that this is supporting, this community cloud is to support multiple organizations sharing computing resources that are part of a particular community. Am I clear?
Yeah.
Anybody has any doubt related to deployment model? So we are all good. So if you wish, you can take a screenshot here. right? So we'll move to the next topic. I'll clear the canvas. It's okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what we are yet to discuss. So we have discussed public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and community cloud. Okay, fine. So the next comes service models. Service models. So see here, deployment models. Now we'll come back again to this one, or let me take this up right away. So now what do you think? Just here, I mentioned only 3 things because we are into AWS, and this slide came after AWS, right? See, after introduction to AWS, it came, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have followed the nomenclature given by exactly by AWS. So now hereafter, we will be restricting ourselves with the AWS terminologies, right? Because we have to be focused. Now we have gathered all the informations, right, about what is cloud computing, how it works, right? In general term, which will be applicable everywhere, whether it is given by Amazon or given by Google or given by say like Microsoft or IBM or whatever. So all those things we have been discussing earlier were in general. Now, why they have mentioned like this, why they are telling it cloud, can you relate what this cloud is? Which one it is? Public or private or what? Hybrid is already written, so it cannot be, right? So just try to relate and tell me what this public cloud, what this cloud mean?
It's a public cloud.
Yeah, perfect, Sai. So this name became so famous, right? The public cloud, right, became so famous, they started simply calling cloud because it has all the features of cloud, right? When we go back to the definition, right? When you go back to the definition, see, what is the definition? Just silently try to read it and try to relate. You can relate it.
Yeah.
Relate to which one? Public or private or hybrid?
So public.
Everyone on the same page?
Yeah.
Yes. So hybrid cloud model, or you say like community cloud model, or you say like whatever private cloud model, all those models, all of them have the features, right? Most of the features, everything is there. However, when it comes to the word cloud,
हाँ उसको खींच लो लॉक मत करना थोड़ी
when it so when it comes to the word cloud, right, so we relate it to public cloud. Oh, it is in the cloud, we are in the cloud, right? So just as soon as we think about cloud, we simply think about public cloud. Okay, fine, everything in the cloud, all in the cloud. So that's how they have mentioned, like, okay, here cloud, so people call it cloud. Okay, so what is written as cloud here is public cloud, and what is written as on premises is
private.
private cloud.
Private cloud.
Perfect. And now the hybrid is a mix of both. Correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So let's move to the cloud computing models, the services, right? So service models you see in the curriculum, right? It's mentioned as IaaS, EaaS, and SaaS, right? So sometimes we call it IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, right? Like that we as well we pronounce. Otherwise we call IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's see. Let's discuss about each one of them, right? Uh, let's use again the whiteboard, right? So this will be better, right? So again, when we talk about when someone asks you types of cloud computing, right? So you can always ask them, do you mean about the services they offer, types of cloud computing based on the services they offer, or right, based on the services they offer, or what, based on what we have discussed just now.
Deployment models.
Correct. Are we talking about the different environments based on the deployment, or are we talking about the different types of services offered by the cloud computing, right? So let's make it like types of cloud computing, I would say. So types of cloud computing, right? So as you know, right, so it's providing us what, the focus on what really matters, right? And we need to avoid some kind of work like purchasing something or maintaining data center or some kind of capacity planning. All those things, right, we can avoid, right? So it has grown, the cloud computing has grown in popularity, right? So different types of strategies, different types of offerings have come in the place, right? Based on what? Based on the control, right? Based on the flexibility, based on the capacity to maintain it, right? Based on the management, how you are trying to manage it, how much flexibility is going to be, how much control you are having on it, right? So primarily three what, service models, what we call it as let's call it service models. Okay, let's call it service model, or let's call it cloud service model, so that we have more clarity here. Cloud service model. Okay, so let me write it here like this. So I write what we have seen, IaaS, and what we have seen is EaaS and SaaS, right? So have you heard what is the name? What is the full form? IaaS. I stands for
Infrastructure.
infrastructure. So this is infrastructure as a service. What is this P?
Platform.
Correct.
Platform.
Platform as a service, right? P is platform as a service. What is this S?
Software.
Software as a service.
Yes.
Correct? So IaaS, the infrastructure as a service, is, do you think it is targeted at end users? Is it for end users? Because it's infrastructure. What end users will do with infrastructure? Nothing, right?
No.
So it's targeted at whom? The system administrators, the IT team, the IT managers, right? So let me write here, targeted at IT managers. By managers, I don't mean the people manager or some kind of project manager. By manager means people who are managing IT. Okay, people who are managing IT. So this IAS model is targeted at IT managers, right? Now let's see who is the target audience for PaaS. What do you think? Developers?
It's developers, yes.
So IT developers. Fine. And here?
End users.
Perfect. Right. So this software as a service is of no use for developers and IT managers, right? So they can use this service as an end user only, right? They are also end users, right? So they want to utilize some of these services, they can do definitely. But the main target, right, for SaaS is all the end users, and PaaS is IT developers, and IaaS is the target is IT managers, right? So this IaaS, infrastructure as a service, right? So in this one, they will be giving the IT compute resources on which what other services run. There are other services, PaaS and SaaS. So those PaaS and SaaS will be running on this IaaS. Okay. So here, these components, PaaS and SaaS, let me try to minimize this so that I have more space here. Yeah. I just move it in a corner, right? So what this gives, right? So other services run here, right? These other services, right? And then what else? Compute resources right are
Correct.
available remotely. Compute resources are available remotely, right? Remotely means what? Over network. You connect to internet and you get your resources, right? So your compute resources are available remotely here. Okay. Again, we'll discuss in details. Let me brief further about this PaaS. So this is for, again, we're giving it to developers and software deployers, right? So again, I will not miss the software deployers because again, deployment is necessary, right? So I'll say software deployers. So this is to create the application for users for creating user applications, I'll say. What about testing applications? Yes, for testing applications, right? For people who will be testing the applications, they will be using this. It's like good enough for them. They don't have to worry about the infrastructure as a service, right? So, and this will be performed using what? Remotely. This will be performed remotely, right? Using the resources. This will be performed using what you call resources using resources remotely. So remotely you can do it, right? So sorry about it's going in a different direction.
That's it.
Yeah. So no, other thing is software as a service, right? So this is to perform software as a service is to perform what? Specific business task. Specific business tasks. Right? And again here service is delivered. Service is delivered. How? Again remotely.
Again, remotely. Yes.
Right? Over what? Network. Okay. Here you have the flexibility to use any type of device. Here you have the flexibility to use any type of device. Okay. Now, what is needed by the user's device? The user's device requires just a thin client. Just a thin client. Just a thin client to connect to the services which are offered, right? Now, application related, whatever configuration is there, right? That will be limited, correct? You can't go and change, you can't make it a big transformation or something in the application, right? So very limited features will be available to you. You can just modify it according to your use. Just like you don't need other things, like you don't want to change the core of the application, right? So you just want something to suit your need while you are using it. So you have limited application. Let's say limited application configuration settings. We'll have settings, right? So limited settings will be there. Limited configuration settings will be there, right? Okay. So what we have discussed here is SAS, PaaS, and IaaS. And while discussing IaaS, what I told, so other things would be running on this IaaS. So let me take this, let me try to make even smaller. Is it becoming? Okay. So I have little bit of space somewhere. Let me utilize this side some space. And let me choose a different color. Okay, let's make it red one. Okay, so you have this part of screen is visible to everyone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me start from here. Right? So just assume that this is what?
Hardware.
Okay. So you have the hardware layer, right? I'll also include, say like hypervisor. Okay. So let's include hypervisor also here. Then what you have? You have the compute. So just just understand, like as of now, let's keep it together, and you have these things, and then what you have? Compute resources, right?
VMs.
Virtual machines.
So let's have compute resources. right? You have, I'm finding a little less space here, right? So I'll just, try to write it smaller. Just let me know if it is clear. Okay, so I'll mention like this. You understand, right? This one.
Yeah.
What is that?
Network.
Yeah. So no, I'm writing it in short. So this is networking, right? So compute resources, storage resources, right? Compute resources, storage resources, and the networking part. This is there, right? May I clear this and try again because I will have less space. But if you can relate,
Yes.
you're able to relate here. Let me try to move this towards left. Oh, I can move it. Okay. Perfect. You see my screen in the, the content has moved little left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Then perfect. Then I can do it here, right here. Fine. So we have compute resources, storage resources, and networking, right? And then you have software development environment. Software development environment here, right? And then we have applications. Right? Simple thing, right? Simple diagram. So just see this part. What is this part?
That's the IaaS.
Perfect. Right? This part is IaaS. Right? This part is IaaS. All this hardware or hypervisor, compute resources, storage resources, networking, all those things are part of IaaS. What about this part?
PaaS.
Yes.
Perfect. And what is this one?
Yes. Yes.
IaaS.
Is it making more clarity? It is giving more clarity.
Yeah.
So what we see in IaaS is the basic building blocks for cloud IT, right? And typically they provide access to compute resources, networking features, right? Data storage space, right? So everything right here they are giving you, right? So this is giving you lowest level of flexibility or highest level of flexibility.
Highest level.
Highest.
This is giving you highest level of flexibility. Everyone agree?
Yeah.
Urvashi,
Yeah. Yeah. Harish.
Apeksha,
Yes, Harish.
Sanjita,
Yes, Harish.
Sai.
Yeah. Yes, Harish.
Perfect. So highest level of flexibility. This one gives. Now, right? What else? What about management control?
Full. Highest.
Yes. So here management control also is highest, right? So it's most similar to existing IT resources that many IT companies, right, are already familiar with. This is just like your existing IT environment, your existing IT resources. You all are familiar with this. There is nothing different here. Okay, so again, PaaS, right? So what we discussed, you don't want to manage these things, whatever is in this layer. Don't want to
Yeah.
manage. Don't want to manage compute resources or storage or networking. You want to be more focused, right, for some kind of deployment and management of your applications that you have developed, right, or you want to develop, right? So this is giving you freedom, right, abstraction. All are familiar with word abstraction. So this is giving you abstraction for the underlying resources which are part of infrastructure as a service, right? So this one is, right, giving you what?
Yeah.
Independence from the hardware and the operating system as well, right? So this is allowing you to focus. It is allowing you to focus on application deployment. So flexibility has decreased, but focus has increased. Flexibility has decreased, but the focus has increased. You don't have to worry about the procuring the resources. You don't have to worry about the capacity planning. You don't have to worry about the maintenance of the operating system patches. You don't have to worry about the security of the underlying resources, right? You don't have to worry about anything, right, involved below this particular layer. So this is really good. Perfect. So none of these environment, right, I would say none of this environment is good or bad. It depends what you want to use, right, why you want to use, right? So this gives you the freedom and the flexibility. So what about the SaaS, right, software as a service? So now you are familiar with this word, SaaS,
Yeah.
software as a service. So what we discussed, software as a service, platform specific business task, service is delivered remotely over network, right? So it's just like, can you give me an example here? Can I take it like web-based email? Okay, from anywhere you just access it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this can go into application layer in the SaaS model, right? Any other? File sharing. Simply you put a file and collaborate and share with other people.
Yeah.
Don't need anything, right? Some limited settings are there. Simply you just pull it, drop it, access from your mobile, access from your laptop, maybe access from your server or whatever, from anywhere, based on the like you have flexibility. Anytime you just access it, right? So here you don't have to think about how the service is managed, how the services are maintained, how the underlying platform is, right? What is the operating system it is running on, how many CPUs it is utilizing, right? Whether any problem is there with the storage, right? So two layers of abstraction, right? So IaaS is totally abstracted, even PaaS layer is abstracted. So it's, I hope I have tried to explain it. Now you have everything here in one page. Maybe you can take a screenshot. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, after discussing about all these things, tomorrow if you go out and talk to somebody and you say that there are three things, right? Three type of services: SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, and they say no, there is something like CAS as well, CAAS, or somebody says no, there is something like DAS, DAAS, right? So then what will you answer? You'll say no, it's not there, right?
Mhm.
So how to address that? Any idea? Anything else apart from this? So these are the main, these are the basic division, right? Anything will be above the SaaS layer. Anything apart from this will be above the SaaS layer, right? Now you can focus little more. You see, like focus is growing here, right? From IaaS, focus is more in the PaaS layer. In the SaaS, little different type of focus, only on the application part, right? Now you can try to focus further, and you just think of data. Don't think of application, just think of data, right? If you just think of data, can we not call it as a data as a service? Possible? Possible? Can we have data as a service? If somebody comes forward, some service provider, and says, no, I would like to offer data as a service.
Yeah.
Okay, they come and say, so let me discuss that below. Oh, okay, above is fine, because again it is above the SaaS layer. So let's see, better. Fine. So let me introduce some other terms, right? So that you can tell if anybody asks. So you can tell. Say like if I write STAAS, right? So what it is? Here D is for data. I'll just write data. Okay. Here I'll just write storage. Storage as a service, possible? You don't want to give everything at application layer. You are focusing on the storage part. Can we have communication as a service? Yes, why not? Communication as a service, right? Right. So like that, we can have lot of other things. So in general, what we will say, X, A, S. What is X? You know X, right? Everyone? What is X? X is a variable, right? In mathematics, we call it X square, Y square, right? X is a variable, right?
Yeah.
We don't know anything about a particular value of something. We say, okay, let's assume it is X, right? So just assume it is X. So X means anything. X can take anything, and this XAS will be read as anything as a service. Anything as a service, right? So let's not limit to only few things. Let there be anything as a service. So this gives the infinite, this shows the infinite possibilities and the flexibilities and the agility, right, that cloud can provide, right? So XaaS in general means anything as a service, let it be data as a service, right? So in data as a service, what is available on demand? Data. What is available on demand? Only data, right? And they will be trying to secure the data, they will trying to encrypt the data, how data is transmitted from one place to another place, right? So maybe like in one place they will keep the data, it doesn't matter in which geographical location end user is, right? They can simply use, right, any type of device to access the data, right? And like that, right? So data as a service, right? So you can have like storage as a service, right? So sometimes you have offsite data backup, right? Say like some you try to keep the data backup offsite for the purpose of disaster recovery. So Vikas, can you relate here?
Yeah.
Offsite data backup.
Yep.
So in this case, say like you just keep the backup of the data, and you want to keep it for long term, right? You just don't want to lose them. Now you need some space there, and in that space you need to keep things, right, and maintain it, right? How difficult it is. So maybe you can use data as this storage as a service, and simply let your provider keep those data safely, securely, maintaining it, and you just pay some basic subscription. If you are not utilizing it, you are not paying for it, simply you are keeping it there for very minimal charges. Only when you try to retrieve, only when you need it, then only you have to pay as per the bandwidth. There are features, right? We'll be talking about, say, like Amazon Glacier, right? So that it's kind of it will be giving you features for disaster recovery, where you can simply put your data and you can just keep it like that, right? So fine. So you just try to relate with the name, right? Whatever name comes, because this list is
Okay.
unlimited. This list is unlimited, right? So we don't want to get into many more things. Just understand all the features of cloud apply here, right? And all this, say like pay as you go, fault tolerance, availability. So everything applies on every component of the cloud, right? So for communication as a service, you can take an example of the VoIP, voice over IP, right? So let's maybe you have taken a screenshot or something. So this is the final thing. You can take a screenshot, and then we will move. Any doubt here on these concepts?
No.
Very clear?
I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone need to say yes one time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
One small
Yes, Harish.
clarification. So this
Sai, right?
XAS, yeah,
Yes, Sai, please.
EAS is like it will come under applications, right?
XaaS means anything as a service, right?
Yeah.
So anything as a service means what? You put anything there, right? So as
correct.
we have already covered IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, so say like whatever apart from that, say like you are not using infrastructure, you are not getting the infrastructure, you are not getting the platform, you are not getting the SaaS as well, you are not getting the software as a service as well. It is something more focused, right?
Yeah,
Above that level, less than that, right? Less flexibility, right?
yeah, correct.
And in application, you have some flexibility, right? Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it will be more concentrated, more focused, and for only one very specific purpose, right? Only for one thing, right? So as you saw, all these layers, right? IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, it's restricting, right? Your control over things.
Yeah.
So if you go for anything above this, it will be more restricted, right? So, and above the whatever layers you have seen, these are the basic layers, right? So all those
Yeah.
will be above this, because most flexibility you get here, lesser flexibility you get here, lesser flexibility you get here. And if you are limited to only one part of, no, one component, only one feature, only one area, then you are more restricted, right?
Yeah, correct.
Correct. So that is
So it
what.
will be above the application. So whatever
Yes,
this XA, it will be over the application layer.
correct,
Application source.
correct. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So you can take a screenshot, right? And let me try to clear the, no, may I clear the canvas?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Fine, perfect. So what next? So we have, no, completed, no, all the topics in module 1. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's now move to AWS, right? So let's move to AWS, right? So some of the things like deployment and service models already we have covered. Cloud computing, something, no, that we already covered, right? We have discussed in detail. So global infrastructure and its benefits. So AWS global infrastructure. So maybe let me introduce a little bit here to the AWS, because some of you are newer here, right, to the AWS, right? So I think Sai, you had some no idea about AWS, right? So some of the things you have attended, some sessions, some few things, right? So like, do you understand something here? Like, do you remember anything about AWS?
Yeah, Harish. Yeah.
Yeah, so like maybe a couple of one sentence or two sentences you want to speak about AWS, any idea? Maybe on the name only you can focus.
Yeah, it's a cloud service provided by Amazon.
Correct.
So AWS stands for Amazon Web Services.
Perfect.
Uh,
Perfect.
and
Perfect. So
they,
it is Amazon Web Services, right? Amazon Web Services. So
web
all are
services.
familiar with Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this Amazon.com, right? I had told, no, I will try to relate here. So this Amazon.com, right? It was launched in 1995, right? 1995, some 25 years, right? So, okay, so I'll not forget to mention, no, the founder here. Yeah. Okay. So 1994, he incorporated the organization, and 1995 Amazon.com was launched, right? And when it was launched, it was, many of you must be familiar. It was online bookstore only. It was just online bookstore in 1995, right? So you can relate it. No, I'll just try to relate this with other data centers and other people who are in the domain, who are into their maintaining their own data centers. What happens to them, right? Because yesterday we discussed a lot, right, about maintaining our own legacy data centers, and things related before virtualization, what had happened, right? So why there was a need of virtualization, right? And like then we went for consolidation, right, after virtualization. So before virtualization we had servers which were projected for future, right? You remember we discussed about
Yeah.
headroom.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So companies had to plan and purchase resources based on projected need, right? Not the need of that particular hour. They had to get some guidance, right, from the service providers, from some vendors, some people, some architects, and then they would decide how much resources do we need for next 5 years. Let's purchase them all, right? So Amazon, right, started in a same way. So they came up with online bookstore, right? And they started provisioning resources. So provisioning word, you are familiar? Yesterday we discussed provisioning and deprovisioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adding or
Provisioning, anybody is not clear about? All clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll be now using the terms that we have introduced yesterday, right? So please stop me now if you forget those terms anywhere, anytime. You just please stop me and ask me. Feel free to ask me, right? Because whatever I am speaking, right, in the context, please feel free to stop me and ask me. You can simply say no, sorry to interrupt, and you can simply no, it's okay, right? So while provisioning resources for this online bookstore that they launched in 1995, right? They also thought this business is going to be bigger and we have to purchase more and more resources. We have to make our data centers robust. We have to make it very highly available, right? So they started simply they started provisioning based on the future demand. Oh, this much demand is coming, so in 5 years a lot of demands will be there, right? So they kept on adding, purchasing resources, right? And one fine day they realized that, right, they developed core competency in managing massive scale data centers. What they realized? They developed core competency in managing massive scale data centers, right? And they got excess of resources. They got excess of resources because they were quite innovative and they researched a lot. As of now also, when I see their innovation, right, I'm happy to see the rate of innovation and their contribution, right? So Amazon people, what did they do? They got much more headroom that they actually needed. Then they thought, oh my God, what has happened? We have so much of resources and only 10% utilization. That means we are in loss. What to do with those 90% remaining resources? That's not getting utilized. However, those may be useful after 4 years, 5 years, or 6 years, right? But what to do with those excess resources? Simply it will be lying there, right? So we have invested so much money in that. What to do? Why not? Why not start renting it? Possible? Good idea, right? So
Yeah.
they started offering the excess capacity that they had acquired to various businesses, right? They started giving the excess resources, the excess capacity that they had, right, to developers, right, to different businesses for building scalable applications. So now they will say, like, now you just go ahead and build some application, whatever you need, right? You need flexibility for storage, or you need flexibility for computing resources. You need some kind of flexibility for whatever. So that those kind of flexibility, right, we will give you, and you please utilize our platform, and we will be taking care of things, resources, the maintenance, everything we will take care. So for cheaper price, they started giving it, right? And then came 2006, right? And they formally launched what we call as AWS. So you understood how AWS came into picture?
Mhm.
This is the interesting story, right? So now they called it Amazon Web Service. They call it as Amazon Web Services. So what is Amazon Web Services? Once we have some context, right? So I'll just now put it little above and then we'll see. So what is Amazon Web Services? So I would say it's collection of remote computing services. You might have noticed I'm using remote word again and again. So I'd say remote computing services. Remote computing service, right? So I'm focusing on word web services, right? And what I'm saying is this Amazon Web Services, right, is collection of what? Remote computing services. So this Amazon Web Services is a collection of remote computing services, right? So this remote computing services, right, we'll simply call, right, web services. This remote computing services, this part, right? You just think like web services, synonymous. Remote computing, when I say remote computing services, you simply think web services, right? So just think like call web services, right? Call web services, right? So these web services, right? So they make up a platform. They make up a platform. Right? These remote computing services we call web services. They make up cloud computing platform. Cloud computing platform.
Okay.
They make up cloud computing platform. Now already you have the cloud computing platform. Now what do? You offer it. Right? Say they started offering it. How they will offer? Via
Internet.
correct? They started offering this via internet, right? So you can say they started offering web-based, again I will focus, web-based cloud services, right? Web-based cloud services, web-based cloud services for what? Storage, right? Computing, right? Networking, and what else? We discussed now. Right? And so on. So this AWS, what you understood? This AWS, right, is a AWS is a collection of, right, remote computing services called web services, right? And these web services formed, right, cloud computing platform. These formed cloud computing platform, and they started offering these cloud computing platform via internet, right? And that is what they started offering, they started offering web-based cloud services for storage, computing, networking, right? Databases, and so on, right? So nowadays, these web services, right? They named simply web services, right? They didn't say Amazon Cloud. Did they say Amazon Cloud? No, right?
No.
This is Amazon Cloud, but they said Amazon Web Services. So now, these days, this web services, right? Web services is what people call as the
Cloud.
yeah. So what is the cloud?
Web
What is the
services.
cloud now? Web services. What is the cloud? Web services. Clear, everyone?
Yeah.
So you understand what is cloud?
Mm.
Web services. That's it. If anybody asks what is cloud, you say web services, it's fine. Okay? So that's it. So now you have this. Where is the other information? I think we already clear, right? Okay. Fine. So you want to note, maybe you can note it. You want to take a screenshot, maybe you can take it.
What if there is frame one definition of the Amazon Web Services? Like, okay, it's a collection of. You can say like this: AWS is a collection of remote computing web
Yes.
resources.
Yes.
They.
You just make it a definition from top down approach. Just make it a definition.
Okay.
How I explained, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just try to make a definition out of it. This way you will remember it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you just make it a definition as AWS, right? Called full form is Amazon Web Services. In bracket you can mention, right? Is a collection of remote computing services called web services, right? Right?
Yeah.
For